Okay, so the other day my son came home and he was wanted to leave, and all of a sudden his ignition wouldn't start. So of course I come out and he's right, it wouldn't start. We did everything. We did the rocking the steering wheel, we did the brake, we did the pushing it back and forth, we did everything. Would not start. So of course I did the typical thing, let's look it up on YouTube. What it ended up being was the ignition switch. The tumblers inside got stuck basically, which this is a 2000 Jeep Cherokee. And as you can see from my hands, I just finished it. So it goes to show that it actually worked. This I ended up having to take apart, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But as you can see, it's really gross and nasty. It's disgusting. My hands are gross. So I'm not mechanically inclined, nothing. I'm just a single mom without a lot of money who tries to fix things as best I can without having to take it to a shop or anything like that. So what I did was, the first thing I did, of course, was like everybody else says, take a hammer, take a screwdriver, whatever, bang on the key. I did that. I did it enough. See? You can see where I banged it. And eventually it did it to where it would turn backwards, but it wouldn't turn into the on position, which in order to get the ignition switch to come out, everyone says that there's this little button on the underneath that you have to be able to push in to pull the ignition switch out. But in order for it to come out, it has to be in the on position. Well, if you can't turn it on, how are you supposed to get it out? Okay, so I went to the automotive store. Because I was pretty sure that this was the case since I actually was able to get it to move into the back position. So some people were like, okay, try the liquid graphite or whatever. So I got some of this, put it in it, banged it some more, just some graphite lube, that's all they had. Didn't do anything, blew in it, did whatever. Got it stuck a couple more times, even worse, to where I couldn't even move it back. Okay, so that didn't work either. So when we had first started, my son had turned this all the way to the left. It was stuck. So he jacked it up. Still couldn't get it to go into the on position. And trust me, I have been working for hours on this thing. As you could see, we had taken these apart. You don't have to take the whole steering wheel off, okay? Like in my case, I did have to take these off because there wasn't a spot to get to. Some people say that there's a little hole here that you can just stick your screwdriver up in and hit that button, hit that little knob and push it in to be able to turn it. Well, I didn't have that luxury. I did have to take these off, which required removing one screw. And this one was up here on top like this, and this was underneath like this. You remove the screw and they popped off. Very simple. Okay, so then I got the ignition switch, the new one, which is already in here, by the way, which was this lube, wherever it went. This graphite lube was $2 and something, and the new ignition switch from Advanced Auto Parts, I think it was the store, was $59.99 plus tax. So for $65 and my own time, I was able to fix this. So let me just show you, if I stop misplacing all my stuff. This, in a vehicle that that works well, the little switch is right here. You turn it to the on position. If I can get it, it's right here, the on position. It slides right out. It really is that simple if you get it into the on position, okay? And then it goes back in just as easily. Starts right up. I replaced that. It is not that hard, okay? The hard part was trying to get it to go into that on position. So my son and I did everything possible. I thought I was going to have to call somebody. Well, what he eventually did was jack up the truck or the Jeep enough to where we could actually wiggle this a little bit, and something told me to just start jiggling it, and I actually got it to move. I popped that sucker out so quick. It was not, I mean, 2 seconds I popped that thing out. So then what I did not realize was in these ignition switches are the tumblers, okay? Now, there are instruction videos on how to do it, but there's these little catches or latches here that you push down once you have it like in the back position for like the accessories or whatever you want to call them here. In the back position, you push this down and it will release this so you can pull this out, okay? Because what it would do with the new key, because the new ones will come with a new key. When you have a new key, it'll start up, but then it'll stop because like for whatever reason this has like a microchip or something where the truck knows the key. So it had a new key. It didn't like it, so what we had to do was come up with what the combination was for this. These little suckers here are called tumblers, and they come out of here in these little slots, okay? Now you just have to keep track of which slots are which. There's 4 on each side in opposite slots. Obviously there's one here, and then there'll be one here, so on and so forth. So there's a total of 8 on these. Like this was, I've wiped these off and everything. These are so old, it's no wonder this thing stopped working. But there are numbers on each one of these, okay? And so basically it's like a combination. When you have the combination to match this, all you do is you match it on your new ignition switch and match the tumblers to whatever this. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's just what you match here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pop it back in, starts right up, bam, you're done. If all of that works so easy, like I said, it took me hours to get it to unlock and pull out. That was the hardest part. Don't give up on trying to get this part to come out. Like I said, I've spent the better part of my day trying to just get it to come out. So before you go and spend a couple $100 on having someone come out or get a tow truck to take it someplace or something like that, give it every shot you have to try and pull that out, or to even drill it out and get it out, because that's a lot of hard work too. So that is changing an ignition switch and the tumblers to match your key, and your key turns it right on, and you can go. $65 in just some of my own time, and my son is good to go. Peace.